and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Patrick Cranley, and I am the Distance Education Coordinator at Cosumnes River College. And today we're going to be talking about how to migrate all of our Zoom cloud recordings away from that platform and into Canvas Studio, YouTube for Los Rios' YouTube section, and also 3C Media. Now, the big reason we're doing all of this is that our access to Zoom is provided to us through the State Chancellor's Office, through a company called Tech Connect. And Tech Connect has a contract with Zoom that defines how much online storage space we have available for all of our videos. Well, since we've all gone remote and teaching remotely since the beginning, almost a year now, since the beginning of the pandemic, the storage has been reduced almost next to nothing, and they're simply just running out of storage space at Zoom for all of our videos because we have logarithmically increased the number of recordings that are going into all of these servers. So we need to start looking at other places that we can store our videos so that they're nice and safe. I have to apologize on behalf of the state. There's been a lot of confusion swirling around over the last couple of days as to the timeline of this migration of all of our Zoom video recordings. As many of you guys saw on Monday, the State Chancellor's Office circulated a memo that stated this coming Monday on March 8th is when they're going to go in and delete any video recording that was made before August 15th of 2020. So basically before the beginning of the previous fall semester. Well, they've since gone in and revised that timeline. Now it's the end of the current semester. So they're not going to go in and look at all of our videos and delete videos until May 31st, 2021. So we have a little bit more than a week. A lot of our faculty, stakeholders, and leadership in the distance education community, you provided a tremendous amount of feedback to the state chancellor and his team on the timeline. So we have to thank our faculty members' involvement in this process because they definitely advocated on our behalf. A week timeline was putting a lot of stress on a lot of people. So I'm happy that we have more. We have the rest of the semester. We have another 8 weeks or so to get all of our old videos out of Zoom and into another system. So we have a little bit of breathing room, which is kind of nice. I want to share my screen with you and start looking at some of the specifics of how we can start deleting old videos, highlighting the old videos, downloading, and then migrating them over to a number of different options. So let's just take a look real fast. One second. Here we go. I apologize. I'm just going to turn something off on my side. There we go. And we'll start sharing. Okay. So if you have any questions over the course of today's presentation, feel free to unmute yourself, blurt it out. It's kind of difficult for me to manage the chat, the participants level, or the participants panel all at the same time. There's no ego on it on my side, so please interrupt me when you have a question. It's important that you get your question answered the moment that you have it. So I'm pretty engaged in that process. Let's jump over into Zoom real fast, or into Confer Zoom, and take a look at really what the big problem is. So the easiest way, and I think probably the only way to really do this with a great deal of accuracy, is through the conferzoom.org web portal. If you've been managing all of your Zoom recordings and your Zoom scheduling in Canvas, take a step away from Canvas and go into the web portal. You're going to find that it's easier, it's more informative, and it's definitely a whole lot faster than going through Canvas. Yes, the question was if you have questions in chat, feel free to chat away. And if I'm in the middle of something and I've walked away from your question, please feel free to interrupt me as well. Both places are just fine. Okay, so I'm going to log into conferzoom.org real fast. And where we need to go to find all of our Zoom cloud recordings is inside this recordings section in the far left-hand side of the web interface. Now, the reason why I love this recording section is that it allows us to filter pretty quickly by date, because every time you do a Zoom cloud recording, it's gonna mark all the metadata that's associated with it, and specifically when you did that recording. So it gathers a bunch of information from the actual recording time and saves that in the file itself. I bring this to your attention because we can begin to very quickly filter the list of recordings by dates, which is pretty cool. So here's what we're going to do. I want to leave the from open, but I want to see everything that was recorded before August 15th, because that's the date, August 15th, 2020. So now what we're seeing here are all the videos that were made to August 15th, 2020. Let's just run a search. And I only have one. Here's one from May of 2020 that would get deleted if I didn't migrate this out. So this is critical information for me. I need to save this because any video made before August 15th, 2020 is going to be deleted. So if you did all your prep over the summer, there's a lot of faculty out there that recorded all of the fall's video lectures over the summer months. We need to save all that stuff because it's just going to go away on May 31st of this year. So I need to start saving all of this information. And it's real easy. Excuse me, I'm going to wrangle some interface stuff here. It's really, really easy to start downloading all of this information. Now, if you look carefully here, this is the row that contains all of the information for the Zoom recording. And you don't necessarily see a download button. Well, if you go into the actual recording itself, and this is a recording of a Zoom session that was made during the end of the spring semester of last year. And I want to save this so I can continue using it for my classes, or even just for us here supporting the DE folks at Los Rios. It's overwhelming at first when we look at all of the information that's stored in here, because most Zoom cloud recordings are going to get 4 different files, at least, sometimes even more. My video was broken up into 2 different questions. If I'm not going to play the video, but if I were, this is Greg Beyer answering a question for a faculty member. And then this is a different question with a different faculty member. So he made 2 different recordings within one Zoom session. And I have the ability to go in and start downloading all of this stuff. Okay, so you can just download all of them if you like by hitting this download button, or you can individually download them. Now, specifically, at the very least for our purposes, what you should download is the shared screen with speaker view. That's the actual video itself. And if you look carefully, and I apologize, I recognize that it's going to be very difficult to see on the recording, but on your screen, if you're following along, these little icons at the beginning of each row do a really great job of communicating to us what type of media file we're about to download. This has the little video icon. This is clearly just the audio, the music notes. This is the audio transcript. Let me show you real fast so everyone, and this is the chat file. So this is what shows up inside of our chat boxes. And Irma says there are 4 files for recording 1 because of the size. No, these are 4 different components. So there's video. We can just download the audio transcript, and then the chat file. That's why there's 4 different files for one video recording. Let me show you the video recording. This is Greg. He's just chatting away here. Let me turn off the volume. Okay. So if you look carefully, this here is what is going to be saved in the video file itself. This is the video with Greg's thumbnail over here. Of course, the audio file will just be the audio of this recording. Let's stop it. We don't need to have this going. This is the interactive audio transcript. Okay. These are not closed captions. If you look carefully here, this audio transcript is time-stamped to certain specific parts of our Zoom cloud recording. This is not a caption file, unfortunately. And then, of course, here's all the chat messages that happened within inside of this Zoom session as well. So this is why we have 4 different files, because we can individually save and download the specific components of a Zoom cloud recording. The big benefit of the Zoom cloud recording is that we get all of these things in an interactive viewport like you see here. And for our older videos, it just breaks my heart that we're not going to be able to use this stuff. It really is quite horrible in my opinion, because this interactive audio transcript is great. Students love it. I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's go back. So any questions on the differences between these? Okay, cool. Let's go back for a second. I'm going to close down this browser tab. Now, for what we need to do, at the very least, we need to download the video. You can also download the audio transcript. The chat file and the audio only file are really not that usable. You certainly could download them. The audio file is very small. It's only 5 megabytes. It's very teeny tiny in comparison to the video files. So you certainly could download all of them. Hitting this button right here will download all 4 of them. Or if you just want to download one, you can click on this little download icon. Let's go ahead and download this thing. It's pretty small. It's only 32 megabytes in size. And my computer has gone in and it's just now finishing downloading this file. Now, I need you to be very mindful of how big these files are and how many files that you need to download. If you recorded an entire semester's worth of video lectures for your class, which is great prep, okay? You may have over 100 of these sitting inside of your Zoom Cloud recording interface in the website. If you're working on a slow internet connection, this is going to be something that we need to manage because you're now going to be downloading huge files. This file is only 12 minutes and 26 seconds, right? So it's relatively short and came out to be 32 megabytes. I have some files that are in the hundreds of megabytes. Like here's one, here's the other one. This one's 34 minutes long and it's 100 megabytes. Point being, if you have 100 videos to download, it could take some time. Prepare ahead of time and plan your schedule accordingly for this download time. You're also going to need to plan for an upload sequence as well. Point being, this is not going to go quickly. There's some management in here that we need to do. Okay, so I've downloaded my video. Also, yeah, go ahead.
Real quick question. So let's say my storage is limited on my computer. Are you going to show us how to do it right to Canvas, or how are we supposed to store all these?
Yeah, so great question. It's not going to go straight to Canvas. It is going to have to be downloaded to your local computer first. Then we can upload to Canvas or upload to our Google Drive. We have a lot of options after we get it into our local computer. If you have very limited storage, contact your dean, see if there's a hard drive that you can purchase, or maybe there's one available to you inside of your division office that you can use to download all this stuff. If they say no, or if they don't have any information, I would encourage you to contact CRC's IT department. Local storage is going to be something that we're going to have to manage as you download all these videos. At the very least, I would imagine you probably have a couple hundred megabytes of storage on your local computer. You may have to do one, download one, upload that one, delete it off your local hard drive, and then advance on to the second video that you need to process.
Okay, great. So, thank you.
Yep. Okay. All right. Let me shuffle my Zoom interface stuff around again so I can see everyone in the chat. Okay. So I'm working inside the Chrome internet browser, and I love Chrome. Chrome is a fantastic tool to use. One of the things I like about Chrome is that I have my download manager down here at the bottom of the screen. And I bring this to your attention because we can see pretty quickly that the name of this video starts with a whole bunch of information. And it's just the time and date. Let me see if I can show this in Finder here real fast. Yeah, if you look very carefully, check it out. This is the date of the video, a unique identifier, and then the name of the session, and then the size of the video resolution. Point being, it doesn't necessarily begin with something that makes sense to me and makes a cognitive connection to what is the purpose of this video. So you're going to have to manage all of this. Rename this. Let's just rename this DE drop in support. There we go. So feel free to name this in a system or within a system that makes sense to you, that it dovetails with inside your larger kind of media management, if you will. Can you go back to how you got here, Patrick? Trank, do you mean how I downloaded the video, or in this window that I'm moving? This window. I'm working on a Mac, so this is my Finder application. If you're working on a Windows PC, this would be the Windows Explorer. This is my interface to managing all of the files and folders that are sitting on my computer. Okay, so
Patrick,
yeah,
just to change the name, did you just right click on that file then?
for me, yeah, since I'm working on a Mac, I can just left click on it, and then if I hit the return key on my keyboard, it allows me to change the file. On Windows, you can right click on it, and I think in the contextual menu, there is a rename. Same thing on a Mac as well. So kind of 6 to 1, half a dozen to another. To answer Linda's question, yes, it should automatically just go to your downloads folder. I've changed all the location for all of my downloads to go to my desktop, because my desktop is kind of like my clearinghouse. It may just everything's in one spot for me. How you manage your media and you name things, and where you place things on your computer is going to be different, and that's fine. As long as you know where it is, that's all that matters, right? Okay, so here's my video file. I always do a spot check on my videos before I upload them to any sort of video streaming service, okay? I kind of feel like it's my responsibility just to make sure that everything was downloaded from Zoom correctly. I have enough experience in this not to trust computers. They mess up, they make errors all the time. If this is mission critical learning information that's irreplaceable, I want to make sure it's perfect from the host, from Zoom, before I go any further. So I'm just going to do a spot check here real fast. Make sure I got audio.
Their own meetings privately, however they do that.
I hear Greg, that's good. Everything looks like it's behaving as it should. So I'm going to say there are no problems with this video, and I'm ready to upload it to some other location on the web. Before we get to the upload sequence, I want to just talk about, I don't want to walk entirely away from Zoom, because Zoom is an important part of this process. We can download. We also may want to start deleting things and managing our trash can as well. Let me go back to the global recording library in my user account. And I wanted to show you a couple of things. So here's some videos that I want to delete. I would encourage you to continue using this time range thing, but as you go through, you may find like you just have some junk. This is some junk recordings. This was me playing around with my kids one afternoon, just having fun on Zoom. I want to get rid of this stuff, so I'm free to go ahead and to begin to trash it. So if you go over to this more pull down menu, you can start deleting all these files, and it's gonna move everything into the trash can. Let's see. I gotta do it one at a time. Let's delete both of those, and we're on our way. Now, if you make a mistake and you deleted something on accident, we'll check it out. Here's your trash can right there. If you don't have this little trash icon on your screen, that's because you don't have anything in your trash. This little button isn't going to show up until you physically have deleted some stuff. So one thing to note is that you can recover deleted files that are files that are currently in your trash can. So if you make a mistake, just go back to your trash can. You can recover. This will go back into the library of your Zoom Cloud recordings. Okay. Any other questions about downloading these things from Zoom before we look at options on where these video files can go? Okay, because the download sequence is just part one. Charity asks, after deleted, how long does it stay in the trash? I believe 30 days. So you have some time to go back in and fix some stuff, but once you hit the delete or empty trash button, it's gone forever. So keep that in mind. There are perma deletes that are points of no return, if you will, when it comes to our files. So just be careful, be mindful of how you're managing these media. I would probably, if I was looking at downloading a whole bunch of these, I would be methodical and systematic. I would download each one individually, triple check to make sure that it's downloaded correctly. I have the video file, which in almost all cases is going to be a MP4 video file. And then once I've validated that file is good to go, that there's no errors in the video that's been downloaded from Zoom, then I would go back in and delete it. So don't delete from Zoom until you are A-OK, ready to go, and you know that your video is nice and safe on your local hard drive. Okay. Other questions about working with Zoom? believe it or not, it's like the easiest part of this, just downloading. But if you have a lot of these, try to think like a machine, if you will. One of my most favorite interviews was with the CEO of Bank of America, and he was asked, "How do you guys process 30 million checks every single day?" And he very simply said, "We don't try to process 30 million checks every single day. We try to process one check perfectly and then repeat that process 30 million times." I have that approach when managing my media. I'm going to create a system that allows me to download and upload perfectly, and then look to repeat that system over and over and over again. Okay, so once we're done with Zoom, we have some options, and I'm simply going to go into our Los Rios hub. Now, our Los Rios hub is a great place to begin our entire conversation. If you're not familiar with the Los Rios hub, well, you probably are, because this is the landing page for all of our technology. When you sign in to the CRC's website, so if you go to employees and then do Canvas, or basically almost any of these, where you are actually going is the Los Rios hub. And this is our first step into what technology is available to us inside of Los Rios. If your Los Rios hub looks a little bit more comprehensive and has stuff that you're not seeing on my screen, that's because I customized my home screen. This little gear icon in the upper right-hand corner allows us to go in and filter the applications that are available on this screen at any single time. And I've just brought the ones that I use the most. Canvas, of course, is number one, my Google Drive, Los Rios Gmail, my Exchange email, and then the new one, the new kid to the block, is YouTube for Los Rios, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Okay, so step number one, and this, you have options here. If you're just looking to save these videos, okay, your Google Drive is a fantastic option. Your Google Drive has a tremendous amount of storage that's associated with it. It's a great place just to kind of throw files. It's all saved inside the cloud. If you need to just preserve information, this is a great place to store it. This is just like a gigantic hard drive in the sky. So it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you'll see in Canvas Studio, 3C Media, and of course YouTube, but it's just good file storage. If your video contains very sensitive, federally protected student information, really the only place to go, or really to put that, is here inside of your Google Drive. We don't want to be placing in video files that contains identifiable student information inside of a publicly streaming or publicly available video streaming and distribution application like YouTube. So Google Drive is a great place just to go and throw files and dump all this. Now, luckily for us in the video world, let's see, I don't think I have any videos in here at the moment. But if you did have videos, you could send someone the link. Okay, for example, here's a document. I could very easily share this file with my team members or maybe another colleague. So we still have the same shareability, if you will, inside of your Google Drive that we see in other locations. However, this is not really a great environment to manage student-facing learning materials. Canvas Studio or even YouTube may be the best place for those locations. So do a hardcore analysis, if you will, on what the content is, and then choose the correct location for that content. Okay, I got a couple questions in chat. I want to make sure I'm being respectful of them. Irma says, when it downloaded, it was an MP3. Did you download the audio only file? Let me go back over into Zoom. On mine, audio only, this is going to download an MP3. Shared screen with speaker view, this is going to be a video, and that should be an MP4. Fong asked, how long does it normally take to upload a 20-minute recording to Google Drive? It depends. Depends on your internet connection. If you have a darn good internet connection, it's going to just take a couple minutes. If you're on very slow broadband internet connection, it's going to take a long time, or could take a long time. If you have hundreds of videos that you need to upload to Google Drive, you may want to go and see if your dean can provide you access to our campus. because the internet connection and all of our desktop stations, our workstations at school are wicked fast, like some of the best internet on the planet. We've been spoiled with our internet at school. It's definitely head and shoulders above what we can offer here, or what we can get at the residential level at home. So think about it. This is part of projecting what your schedule is going to be. You're going to have a lot of download time, and then you potentially may have a lot of upload time as well. Okay. All right. Other questions before we move on?
When you download the video, it also does the audio, right? So you don't have to do audio and video.
You got it. You got it. The only, if you were doing, you can download just the audio. For example, if you were trying to do like a podcast of one of your video lectures, you could do that. But this thing here, this video file is going to contain the video and the audio all combined into one.
Great, thank you.
Yep. All right. So Google Drive is a great option. Please understand your content and then choose the correct landing spot for that content. At the very least, throw it all into Google Drive, and then make the decision later as to when to where these video files can live within inside of our larger instructional system. This is going to be my suggestion for the March 8th deadline, right? Since we initially were only given a week to do this, I was going to say download everything real fast from Zoom, throw it into your Google Drive. And that gives us some breathing room as to when and where all this information can go after that. But now that we have until the end of the semester, we should look at the other options and the other alternatives out there in choosing a good landing spot for all of these videos. Since we're working with video material that's designed, or in my case, video material that's designed to be student facing, that does not include any private, sensitive, identifiable student information, I have some options in front of me. And if we return to our Los Rios hub, you can see a couple of those options to us right here, right in front of us. Of course, Canvas, and specifically Canvas Studio is a great option. If we jump into Canvas, it looks like our outage is officially over. You can go into any Canvas course and find Canvas Studio from the list of tools that show up inside of our course nav bar. And excuse me, here it is on my screen. Now, Canvas Studio does a number of different things. It allows us to record our webcam. It also allows us to record our desktop, a screencast, if you will. But it also allows us to upload an existing file into the system. Let me show you specifically what I'm talking about. Inside of Canvas Studio, this add button up here is where we want to go. And of course, we can drag and drop the file that we just downloaded from my computer. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I'm just going to drag and drop it into the window. And then voila, look, it's uploading. Okay. Now it's going to take a couple minutes for this to upload. It's not quick. It's entirely reliant on my internet connection. This is not a huge file. It's only 34 megabytes in size, but you can still see that there's some uploading and then processing time on top of that. And all of our video hosts, Canvas Studio, YouTube, and 3C Media, are going to have some processing time on the back end. And that processing time is really their computer servers looking at the file, understanding the file, and wrapping a video player around that file to present to a larger internet audience. Point being, it's not fast. It's going to take a while. In addition, we also have to make sure that if it's instructional and student-facing, at the very least, it has to have auto captions applied to it as well. Canvas Studio does a really great job of generating auto captions for us. In a second, I was quite hoping that this wouldn't take as long as it is to uploading, because I was going to show you how to order captions. But we can do it really easily inside of this Canvas Studio video. Maybe we'll come back to it in a second. The auto caption system in Canvas Studio is pretty good. It's pretty decent. It's about 85 to 90% accurate. It goes in and adds capitalization and punctuation inside of all of our video clips. It really does a fantastic job. There is some processing time that's associated with generating all of those captions. You have to order your caption files. The video then gets sent off to the Canvas Studio guys and gals. They create the caption files, and then they overlay it on top of your video when they're done. At
Hey,
times,
Pat.
it goes fast. Other times, it doesn't.
Hi, Pat. This is Irma. I think Linda asked, how do you drag and drop to upload to the Google Drive?
Yeah, so in Google, it's the same thing. I'm in my Google Drive interface. The easiest way to do it is just drag and drop from the Finder window. Let me open up a Finder window here real fast. And you can do this on Windows PC as well. You just drag and drop it into, I kind of put it at the top of the screen. Pay real close attention. I have a whole bunch of folders. So it's trying to put it in a folder, which I don't want. But if you just pay attention to the blue outline that shows up around the boundaries of the Google Drive interface, you can understand pretty quickly where it's being stored in your machine, or excuse me, in the online cloud storage. And then you're going to get the Google Uploader in the lower right-hand corner. This little circle is the progress bar that tells you how long it's going to take to upload this file. Did that answer your question, Linda? And I apologize.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. How much storage does Canvas Studio have? A bunch. I don't know specifically off the top of my head how much storage is in there. I think it's unlimited, but they also told us that Zoom Cloud Recordings was unlimited as well. So I don't know. We are charting new territory at the moment when it comes to this cloud storage. I hypothesized at the beginning of the pandemic that we were going to run into this problem. There's only so much storage available to us inside of the internet. It's not an infinite resource. And I was concerned, knowing how big these video files are and how many videos would then be posted online, that we'd run out collectively of storage. And I don't want to say I told you so, but I feel as though I spotted this one coming. Okay. Any other questions? Perfect. And I bet you if we go back into Canvas Studio, oh, good. It's done processing. If we view the video now, here we go. And go into our captions. It says captions request which language is spoken. Let's just find English. And then I'm gonna hit the request button and it's gonna go in and it's queued up. The servers are gonna do their thing. You will know that your video has been captioned because a little closed caption icon will show up in the player bar itself. It'll say CC next to it. I have no idea how long it's going to take for them to process this information. It could be 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. You're in a queue. And if you're video number 1 in the queue, the server is going to do that work. However, if you are video number 2000 in the queue, there's going to be a significant amount of wait time below all of that. So, but there are already captions generated by Zoom. Those captions are not going to come over. Yeah, so we have to, they're not embedded as part of the file itself. Let me bring up the file, the actual video file from move some of this stuff out of the way. I apologize. So this is the actual video from Zoom, and they don't embed the closed captioning in here. If you look carefully, it's not showing up down here at the bottom. The closed captioning files are only available. Yeah, they're only available inside of Zoom. And let me just speak with great accuracy because it's in the view section here. Languages, yeah, it would say English and subtitles, none. Yeah, so none of that information is coming over, which is, again, the big time bummer, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm confused about that because when I do a Zoom and I've got the captions, you know, I can save it with I'm not talking about chat, I'm talking about the audio transcript. And then I can share that file with someone and it's got the audio transcript, which is really the captioning, right?
Well, and I have to apologize. From a legal and standards perspectives, those are not closed captions. That is not a file that can be inserted into a video and shows up at the bottom of the video stream itself. That's an audio transcript. It's a different type of technical file, if you will. On the surface, it seems like 6 to 1, half a dozen to another, but from a technical perspective, they are very, very different. And I think let's just go back in.
Can you remind us how, but you can choose that when you're doing a recording, right?
So audio transcript, let's just download it real fast, take a look at it.
Now, I
Yeah,
understand what
text file.
Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I remember there was some notification, and I totally forgot about it, that when you're doing a not a recording, when you're doing a Canvas class, you can choose to have an
Yes.
audio captioning done live.
Correct. And let
I've
me,
totally forgotten about that.
I need to turn, enable auto. See, now you guys see at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, these are not technically closed captions, but they're very, very close to being live captions. To make it a closed caption, they have to be 100% accurate. These aren't 100% accurate, so they can't technically be classified as closed captions, but it's close enough for what we need to do, especially in the education world.
And does that get captured then?
Yeah, if you have this on, so I just turned it on, it's under the live transcript button in the Zoom interface. If that was on when you started the recording, then what you see inside of this Zoom interface is then going to be preserved. However, this feature wasn't turned on. It wasn't even available to us until about a month ago. We're talking about videos that we recorded last summer, so the likelihood of this being there is 0.
Yes, absolutely. But it was a good reminder, because I'd totally forgotten that there was that capability, and I should probably be using it as I'm teaching.
Absolutely. And my biggest criticism about working in Zoom and doing these workshops is that I can't share with you my Zoom interface. So if you don't know what we're talking about, it's the CC button at the bottom of your Zoom interface when you're the host. And you can turn the live transcript on and off. And I'll just leave it on for the remainder of the day. That way we have it. Great. Okay. Let me go back to sharing my screen with you here real fast. And I know I'm running out of time, and I want to talk just real quick about your other options. Okay. So of course we have Canvas Studio. This is a great tool. We have some additional learning resources all about Canvas Studio. So contact me offline if you want to learn more about this. There's definitely a lot out there on this resource. In addition, we also have access to 3C Media. 3C Media is another fantastic video host. This is a service that is provided to us for free from the State Chancellor's Technology Office. If you don't have an account, make one. It's absolutely free. You just go to 3cmediasolutions.org, make an account, sign in, and then you can start uploading media, uploading files. And I like 3C. It integrates very seamlessly with Canvas, and I'll show you that here in a second. You could also order transcripts from them. It's a pretty simple process to go through. I would say out of the 3, this is the most kind of clunky, if you will, unrefined, but it works, and it does work. It works pretty well. It's just kind of manual. It just takes a little bit more effort uploading all your files, and then requesting captions is kind of a thing. So this is another great alternative. I have a lot of videos for one of my classes in 3C Media. And once everything is uploaded, and it really is just as simple as hitting the add upload media button, you got to fill out some forms. It's kind of a manual process, but what you get at the end here is a video that looks like any other video. You can embed this anywhere on the web. The great thing about working with 3C Media is that they're never going to ever have a claim to your video. The terms of service and the usage service that we get with 3C Media is specifically designed for us in the educational world. Not so when it comes to working with YouTube. YouTube is a great system. It has the best interface, the best tools, and the best support, but you're putting it on a publicly traded, company's website. They're going to have claim to that video. So we got to be careful. If you have proprietary information that you have spent your entire career building that you want to protect and make sure is yours, putting on YouTube is a bad idea, because they're always going to be able to have access to it. They can use that video whenever they'd like. reading the terms of service is a really good option. So the question from the chat is, why would you choose that instead of Studio? This is external from Canvas. A lot of folks, they don't want to use Canvas. And if you're a staff or a classified staff member, you're not going to probably be using Canvas for any of your video hosting services. Canvas is really designed to be an instructional area. We use it pretty frequently for other environments as well, but it may not be your primary work environment. So 3C Media and YouTube are excellent alternatives to working inside of Canvas Studio. Canvas is designed to be a walled garden. Only folks that get inside of that garden can play inside of that garden. The only folks that can get into the garden are current students and faculty and Los Rios employees. We restrict it by your employee ID number and that username. So it makes it incredibly private. And we have to do that because we have private, federally protected student information inside of Canvas. So it's critical that we're kind of managing that space very securely. 3C Media and YouTube, we don't manage. Those are kind of open environments. We can very quickly go into our media in 3C, and I can share this. I can share it with the world. I can even make curated playlists and share that playlist with the entire state of California or world for that matter. So it just kind of opens up the visibility of that video file across the entire web. Check out 3C Media. Again, if you have any questions on it, they have a lot of support. Since this is a state-run service, they're very responsive. Their technical support team is great. They always get back to me very quickly whenever I have an issue, and they're wonderful. The third option is, of course, YouTube. And once again, please note that on inside of our Los Rios bundle of technology, we just got access to an institutional license of YouTube about a month ago, maybe not even a month ago. So it's kind of brand new. And this is a YouTube channel that's directly associated with your user account, your Los Rios user account. So I'm going to go into it. I have, of course, a private Gmail channel or a private YouTube channel that I host all of my 3D modeling and animation stuff. That's what I do. I teach animation and 3D modeling at Sacramento City College when I'm not doing this distance education gig. And so now we have a professional YouTube channel that's directly tied to our Los Rios identification number. So please, please, please make sure before you jump into the YouTube world that you read the terms of service, that you understand very directly how YouTube is different in their claim, in their usage claim to your videos. Like I said, if you have something that you are incredibly protective of, that you need to control 100% of the rights and access to that video, YouTube may not be the best environment for you. One of the things that I learned while going through the YouTube terms of service is that when you delete a video from YouTube, you don't actually delete it from YouTube. It's something that stays within their system, and then they can use that video wherever they want on the web without even notifying you. So keep that in mind. It's they give you the best tools, but they also expect something in return. When you're ready to go, it's this little button right here at the top of the page. This will allow us to access our Los Rios YouTube account. Now check it out over here. This is going to tell you pretty quickly. This icon in the upper right-hand corner does a really great job of showing you which account you're currently signed into. For me, this is my W number at apps.losrios.edu. That's our username for all of our Google Workspace for Education accounts. Now, where you want to go is into your YouTube studio. This is kind of like your library, if you will, for all of your YouTube videos. And in here, we can upload, we can create videos. It's this little button right here. You can upload a video into your library. And once again, I'm just going to drag and drop. You can also select the file here. It'll bring up in your Finder window. Mine's on my desktop. There's the video that of Greg helping another faculty member last May, and we're off to the races. Now, when working with YouTube, a couple things that you want to make sure that you pay very close attention to. And you can definitely fill out all of this stuff. The things that you want to pay attention to is, yes, it's made for kids. Turn that on. That's going to ensure that any sort of advertisement that shows up on top of your video is appropriate for all ages, all audiences. That's not to say that there'd be an advertisement in YouTube that would be inappropriate, but it definitely ensures that your audience is not going to be seeing something that you would maybe consider inappropriate for a child. So I always do, yes, it's made for kids. And sorry, I got Zoom interface in the way. Here we go. Now let's hit the next button. Now, the most important part about working inside of YouTube is this visibility section. Because I made this for kids, it's disabled all of these promotional material things, these cards. But the visibility section down here is really super important, because this is where we get to determine how public we want this video to be. If it's set to private, this is off of, it uses YouTube's player, but you're not going to be able to search for this video or find it in any way on YouTube. You can only share it inside of Los Rios. If we share privately, you can add in the W numbers of the folks that you want to send this to. I'm going to hit cancel. If you choose unlisted, it's still not searchable. You can't find it anywhere through the standard YouTube search. But you can share it to anyone who has the link. So it's kind of like the in-between from the private setting to public. And public is public. That means anyone on YouTube can find your video. They can comment on it. They can look at it. It is 100% inside of the full YouTube experience, if you will. So just be very mindful that you have some options here between the three. If you're using YouTube to upload very sensitive videos that include identifiable information, you are required to use private. Okay, we have to restrict access to that video to only certain people. However, if it's just me giving a video lecture, I'm probably going to put unlisted or maybe even public. If it doesn't contain any information from a student, then we have options as to how we want to list our video inside of YouTube. YouTube, Linda says, I don't get the difference between 1 and 2. When it's private, only individual users whom you share, whom you put in this box are going to get access to the video. So if I only wanted to share the video with you, Linda, I would put your W number at apps.losrios.edu email address in this box, and only you are ever going to see this video. However, if I put it as unlisted, let's just hit the save button here real fast. What you're going to get, if you go into the content area, it's still processing it, but we can go in and get the link. I can copy the video link and send this to anyone that I want. Anyone with the link will be able to view this video. But that's the only way that folks are going to be able to find this video, right? They can't search for it. They can't go into your YouTube channel and find it. It's invisible unless you have the link. So it sits between private and public. It's kind of like semi-private, if you will, inside of that area.
Okay, I have a question. This is Irma. I put the question in the chat box, but I'm in my Google Drive, and then I just copied over a short video. So, but I see an older video that has kind of that play button circle with the triangle, but then the new one has kind of like that director's cut board. What's the difference, or is there a difference?
I don't think there's the difference. I don't think.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I've seen those differences. Let's see if I have any videos currently.
Yeah, it's a red little icon.
Yeah, so here's a video.
There it is.
Yeah, that's a video. As long as you're seeing the little, these are old videos too. These are from like years and years and years ago, 2018. Okay. So I think here's the thing, just click on it. If it starts to play, you're good to go. Okay.
I just uploaded it and it says it was still processing.
Yeah.
But I did see one that's red. If you can go back, I think that's it. The DE, that one.
Yep.
If you click on it, will it start playing, or it's just
find out. Dun, dun, dun. Yep, there it is. It's good to go.
So as long as they work, it doesn't matter what the icon is.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't
Got
matter.
it.
I'm not sure if these down here, that had the other icon. Those are older videos. They may not be yeah, no. The difference is the red ones were MP4s. These are .movs.
Okay.
So a different video format, different file extension. I'm not going to go into the details of those because that's very long-winded.
Okay.
but
But as
point
long
be-
as yeah, we could see them.
as long as it plays, it plays. Okay.
So Pat, on the, this is Dan, on the YouTube, when you put the unlisted, so if I take that link and I highlight it, let's say I have my own website that I put on, from some other website provider, and I put that link in there, then still, just the people that have access to that private website that see the link and click on it would be able to get to it.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, I haven't done that before, but that's great.
Yeah, it's a great kind of in between privacy setting for YouTube. Fong asks, do we have to create a YouTube channel in order to upload videos? I couldn't find that setting in YouTube that you're in right now. So one of the things to be mindful of when using YouTube is to ensure that you're in the correct user account. Now, I got access to I'm going to go back a page. I apologize. Let's go back into YouTube Studio. Well, actually, let's go back into my Los Rios hub. I'm getting access to YouTube right here. Okay. If you click on it in this environment, click on it here as well, you're going to be taken to your Los Rios YouTube channel, right? If you click on this icon, if this says something else, like my private YouTube channel is just patcranley@gmail.com. If it says patcranley@gmail.com, I know I'm looking at my private YouTube channel versus my other ones. And you can switch accounts right here. Okay, so Charity asks, closed captioning in YouTube. It's actually very easy. It will automatically caption things for us. Okay, so I'm going to go into my YouTube Studio. If I click on it, over here we have our subtitles section. Now it's going to go in and it's going to try to create a automatic caption file. It doesn't see how it says add. It means it hasn't created one yet. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's not done processing it. In the YouTube interface, it will say edit. If it says edit here, that means the caption track has been generated and then you can go back in and fix it. Since it says add here, it's not done processing, automatically generating the captions. This can be a process of frustration because this is the one area of working inside of YouTube that they don't give you a lot of information on. So if it says edit, you're good to go. If it doesn't say edit, it's still in the queue, but YouTube will automatically create an automatically captioned video at some point. No, Charity, I apologize. I wish that it did. The automatic captions in YouTube are way thumbs down. They're not great. They're not great at all. They don't include punctuation or capitalization, and it is the worst part of the YouTube experience. Yeah, that's another reason why to use Canvas Studio, in my opinion, is the caption files are great. You kind of get what you pay for. We pay for Canvas Studio. It's not free. The district and the state pays a lot of money for Canvas Studio, and we got some good technology in there. All right, I want to be respectful of people's time. It's already 3 o'clock. Does anyone have any other questions on your options as to where to migrate your Zoom recordings to other locations on the web so that we can continue using them past May 31st?
So Pat, I have one question that might you'll say that's a different workshop. Just in Canvas Studio, is there a way to make files so that you could put all of your downloaded Zoom recordings in just that file? Or does it just go into that massive profile screen that has all the different videos that you've placed there?
Yeah, you'll have to do it individually. There's not a bulk like uploader.
Right, I just mean, but like for file management, I'm not familiar. I don't think that there's a place you can create a file, right? Just so that you can put all specific downloads into that one file.
You could in Canvas. Let me share my screen with you real fast. Yeah, there's absolutely the file tool in Canvas. Let me see if I have a Canvas tab open. No, okay. Jump into Canvas. Oh, good. District has put something about our Canvas outage. All right, so in any Canvas shell, you of course have access to the Files tool down here. And this is like our Google Drive. You can put anything you want in these file folders in here. So you can certainly, in like an uploaded media folder, you can drag and drop. I'm just gonna do it real fast. I'm gonna drag and drop that video file, then up it goes. I don't believe you can provide access to individual files, individual folders to your students. I think you can only give access to files. But this is another alternative storage location for your media. Did I answer your question, Dan?
That is really helpful. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problemo.
So does that mean we have to drag the file for different classes? Like I'm talking about different semester, because it looked like file here is for this particular playground, right?
Yeah, and I would really recommend that you take a good hard look at how you're setting up your system. You certainly, and you're correct, because this right now, I've uploaded this video file to just this one Canvas class, right? However, if you look at the way the file tool works inside of Canvas, if you go into your account, you also have a global. Let's leave it. It's uploading it, but that's okay. You also have a global files tool. Yeah, and this is where it gets really confusing pretty fast, because if you look very carefully here, now it's showing you every single Canvas class that you've been enrolled in and all of the files across all of your Canvas classes. There is one file folder up here called My Files, and I'm running an experiment right now of kind of putting all of my course images and my course documents kind of outside of Canvas, outside of an individual Canvas structure, to make it a little bit easier for me to manage my media. So you certainly could do it this way, but just be mindful of the system, how it works. Folder structures can get kind of confusing. I find this structure incredibly confusing and overwhelming, which is why I'm trying to get things into a folder structure that I control a little bit. Okay, other question.
In that, but create a new folder, is there an icon for creating a new folder, or?
Yeah, it's right here.
I mean,
Okay. Dan, did you get your question answered about the icon?
no, I'm sorry. It was breaking up on my end.
So if you're trying to add a folder in the Canvas Files tool, it's right there.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? And Veronica, yes, absolutely. No problem. As a small little reminder, I'm going to be stopping the recording here in a minute, and then I'm going to be posting this video on the CRC Distance Education YouTube channel. And I'll send out a link to the entire college once that's done processing. So if you want to go back in and review it, you're definitely encouraged to check it out. In addition, feel free to email me directly. I'm here to help. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box. Yes, so please make sure you email me at any time. I really am more than welcome and able to help you with all your questions. All right, with that, thank you very much, everyone. And we will, well, I guess I can't say we'll see you on campus, but we'll see you online. Thank you.